Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down a modern framework for engineering design, one that can take you from just a spark of an idea all the way to a project that has a real lasting impact. Okay, let's get into it.
So let's just start with a big question, one that every engineer thinks about. What's the difference between a project that's just good and one that's truly great? In today's world, the answer is a lot more interesting and way more important than you might think.
Well, the answer really is all about a huge shift in perspective. In the past, it was pretty simple, right? The main question was, does it work? Does it do the job? But today, that's just the starting line. Modern engineering demands so much more. It's not enough for something to just function. It has to be sustainable, affordable over its entire life, and have a positive impact on society.
And that right there is the challenge for engineers today. It's about taking all these different goals, performance, sustainability, cost, reliability, and weaving them together into one unified definition of what makes a project excellent.
Now, you might think this is just, more work, another box to check, but it's not. This is the new gold standard for creating projects that actually matter. So, how do you pull this off? How do you balance all of this? Well, let's walk through a super clear 4-step framework that shows you exactly how to do it.
Okay, step one. And this is the bedrock of any great project, really. You have to start with the why. That means you've got to get a deep, crystal clear understanding of the problem you're trying to solve. You have to move from some vague idea to a really structured, prioritized list of what the customer actually needs.
And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. On the left, you see what looks like a brain dump of what the customer wants. It's kind of chaotic, all over the place. But then look at the right. That chaos is transformed into a clean, organized set of design goals, and each one even has a priority weighting. This is so crucial because it makes sure you're solving the right problems from day one.
All right, so now we know what we're building. Step 2 is all about how we build it, and how we do it in a way that's actually responsible. This is where we make sustainability a core ingredient in our design, not just some spice we sprinkle on at the end.
You've probably heard this before, but real sustainability, the kind that lasts, stands on these 3 legs. You've got the environmental pillar, protecting our planet, the economic one, making sure the project is actually viable, and the social one, which is all about supporting people and communities. A truly great project has to nail all 3. Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Well, we've got a really powerful tool for that, the Sustainability Matrix. It's a simple 3x3 grid that helps us organize our thoughts across those 3 pillars we just talked about, and it looks at them through 3 key phases of a project: the development, the actual use, and of course the potential risks.
And here's what's so cool about this matrix. It's not a checklist, it's not here to give you the answers. Instead, it uses a Socratic method. Each of these 9 boxes is filled with questions, powerful questions, that are designed to make you think, to make you reflect deeply on what you're doing.
You see, when you ask questions like these, you're forced to think about the project's entire life. You're not just designing a thing, you're thinking about its ripple effects on the planet, on the budget, and on the real people it's going to affect. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so we've got our why, and we've got a sustainable how. That brings us to step 3, the big balancing act. This is where we face one of the oldest tensions in all of engineering, the constant tug of war between cost and reliability.
And let's be real. There's always a tension here, right? As you can see in this diagram, putting money into reliability early on is usually a great investment, but there's a point of diminishing returns. After a while, trying to squeeze out every last drop of reliability with super complex designs or tons of backup systems can make your costs just skyrocket for very little gain.
So the name of the game isn't to just max out reliability or slash costs to the bone. No. The real goal is finding that sweet spot, that perfect balance, where the system is tough enough to be dependable, but not so over-engineered that nobody can afford it.
And a great way to actually see this is with a framework like this one. It helps you map out your different options based on how sustainable they are and what their life cycle cost is. And where do we want to be? It's pretty obvious, right? That top left quadrant, high sustainability, low cost. That's the win.
So how do you land in that magic quadrant? Well, this slide shows you the roadmap. It's not guesswork. It's a structured, 5-step process that uses serious tools like life cycle cost analysis to systematically weigh your options and guide you toward the absolute best choice. And that brings us to the final and honestly one of the most important steps. Step 4. You have to tell your project's story. You can do all this amazing, rigorous work, but if you can't communicate its value clearly, it gets lost. And that's where the final report comes in. Look, a final report isn't just a boring document you have to file away. Think of it as the story of your project. It's the narrative that takes the reader on the whole journey with you, justifying every single decision, from understanding what the customer needed in the first place, all the way to the final design and proving that it works. Of course, a good story needs proof. It needs the receipts, right? And that's where something like this, a bill of materials, comes in. These detailed documents are absolutely essential. They provide the hard data, the concrete evidence that backs up your design and your cost estimates. It proves you've done your homework. But, and this is a really big but, there's a trap here we all need to watch out for. As the very people who created that sustainability matrix pointed out, it's so easy to just go through the motions, to treat this whole process like a big checklist, just to get it done. But see, that's the whole point of this framework we've been talking about. It's designed to stop you from just checking boxes. It gives you the structure and the tools you need to go deeper, to engage in that thoughtful, meaningful analysis that is the true hallmark of great engineering.
So let's just boil it all down. What's the big takeaway here? It's these 4 steps. 1. Start with why and really master what the customer needs. 2. Design for good, making sustainability a part of the project's DNA. 3. Balance those critical trade-offs between cost and reliability. And 4. Tell your project story, loud and clear, with the data to back it up.
Because at the end of the day, when you use a framework like this, you're doing so much more than just making something. You are thoughtfully and deliberately building a more sustainable, more reliable, and more impactful future, one project at a time.